What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday afternoon, 1:34 p.m. Eastern, just outside Toronto, Ontario. Phantom Empire, I'm Sean. Hopefully all you guys and gals out there are having a good week. It's an insanely busy week here for us. Excited to return to normal content soon. The truth is we haven't been able to do it for about 6 months due to schedule conflicts and availability and a bunch of other stuff. Couldn't wait on this one, though. This story has legs. It started years ago and just kind of out of nowhere got an answer yesterday. And we're going to talk about it. So, first and foremost, though, for those of you that are either joining the live stream or listening afterwards, multiple choice question for this video is: which David Gordon Green Halloween trilogy is your favorite? Halloween Ends has now been out for about half a year or so. Maybe your feelings have changed in it, positively or negatively. Which one is your favorite? Comment down below. Would love to know. I gotta say, it's still 2018 for me, and that's rather interesting because we're going to talk a little bit about that movie and the impact that the performance of that movie, critically and financially, had on. Sorry, my audio is doing weird things here. Had on David Gordon Green, and it turns out there's a lot. And I want to start off by saying this: this isn't coming from me. So, if you don't know who Jeff Snyder is, he is one of the co-hosts of the Hot Mic show with John Roca. Guys were probably most well known in the movie trivia Schmodown, but specifically Jeff Snyder is the one that broke David Gordon Green's Halloween 2018 to begin with. That's right, he was the first one that had anything on it. He also happened to be the first one that had them approaching Paul Rudd about returning as Tommy Doyle. Obviously, that didn't pan out, but that indeed did happen. So when I say it's coming from a very reputable place, the headline, it's coming from a very, very reputable place. And I can back it up a little. So if we dial back a little bit, think about just after Halloween 2018. Okay. Think back then. I know it's a long time ago. I can barely remember what I ate earlier this week. But let's think back to Halloween 2018 for a second. After that movie came out and was wildly successful financially, there was nothing. You could hear a pin drop. Nobody knew why they weren't announcing a sequel. Nobody knew what was going on. And then, slowly, rumors started to come out that David Gordon Green might return in a producer's capacity, but wouldn't be involved in the writing and or directing of the movie. These are headlines that you can literally Google right now. It's not like we're just fucking pulling this shit out of our ass. But that didn't come to be, and nobody really knew why. So I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before, Jeff Snyder came out with the news that David Gordon Green, in fact, not only was pursuing a Star Wars movie, but was working on a Star Wars movie. Now, it's interesting because we cover both of these things. Now, Star Wars more from reacting to whatever news comes out, because we don't have a whole lot of, inside sources, if you will, over there. But the Halloween stuff, we have a track record on. And I knew there was another project. A lot of people knew there was another project that David Gordon Green wanted to pursue. Never in a million years would I have guessed it was a Star Wars movie. Now, keep in mind, this is while still negotiating a deal for The Exorcist and working on a Star Wars movie, which, if you ask some of the people that, really know the ins and outs of what goes on there, guys like Jason Ward from Making Star Wars, guys like Bespin Bulletin, basically takes 5 years to make a Star Wars movie. And the batshit crazy thing about this is he still signed the deal to do Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends, because guess what? Money talks. I'm not saying I wouldn't have done it either. God knows I've bitten off more than I can chew more than once. And he's dealing with the types of dollars that I'll never see in my lifetime. But it takes 5 fucking making a Star Wars movie is not like making almost any horror movie. Now, people can say Star Wars is watered down, it's not what it used to be, and you're probably right. But it's still a massive blockbuster picture. Think about how big the production was on Halloween Kills and go about 10 to 15 times bigger than that in cost and in personnel. And that's your Star Wars movie, which, by the way, David Gordon Green has no experience with anything of that size. But then again, neither did Ryan Johnson, despite what you might think of The Last Jedi and it dividing a fan base. At the end of the day, it's a fairly well made movie. Also, I think one of the only Star Wars movies that had no behind the scenes issues in the Disney era. What I find crazy is he was legitimately working on a Star Wars movie while getting ready to do Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. And I think I can say fairly confidently when you ask the majority of people, most people like Halloween 2018 significantly more than the other two movies. Now, where does the evidence lie in this? Well, Kathleen Kennedy and company, the heads that be over at Lucasfilm and, even at Disney, have a history of going out and grabbing, oh, this person is hot, so let's bring them in. The guys that did Into the Spider-Verse, their names are slipping me. They did 70% of Solo and got axed. The Game of Thrones guys left for a bigger deal at Netflix, which I don't think they've produced one single thing for yet. Gareth Edwards got benched on Rogue One. They hired Josh Trank because he was a big name coming off a fairly successful movie. Also got tanked. So I could totally see David Gordon Green being attractive to Lucasfilm at that time. We're talking post Halloween 2018, because one, what was everybody saying after Halloween 2018 came out? Or not everybody, but most people. It was critically received very well. And it is the most successful Halloween movie financially by a long shot. Most people would say he respected the franchise, he respected the IP, and also made a wildly successful movie, regardless of where you fall on it. And it definitely falls into the Lucasfilm track record to bring someone on for those reasons and attempt to make a Star Wars movie with them. Now, to me, the irresponsible thing is it looks like the same amount of attention and detail and effort wasn't put in to Halloween Kills and Halloween Ends. A lot of people suggest there's too many chefs in the kitchen on those two movies. And that's every report that we've received as well, along with several other people that, go about reporting their own thing, however they do that. But I think the real telling thing here is David Gordon Green, after he'd signed on to his Halloween trilogy, apparently, and speaking of which, he signed on for one movie and then signed on again for 2 more. So it's not like he agreed. I'm not saying he agreed to a trilogy right out of the gate. That would be a lie. However, it's still a ton to take on. And now, according to Jeff Snyder and the Hot Mic, again, if you don't watch that show and you want like scoops in terms of what's going on in Hollywood that are almost always accurate, definitely go check out his show. Him and John Roca do a great job over there. Also, by the way, I wouldn't know about them doing that show and bringing up Halloween if it wasn't for the Making Star Wars show that covered this story with Bespin Bulletin yesterday. So if you're a Star Wars fan, go check them out at Making Star Wars and Bespin Bulletin. They both have great websites. They're both on YouTube. And like, I'm at work when I heard this. It's like, oh, so that was the project he almost left for. I never would have guessed it was Star Wars. And he did almost leave. He wanted out. And again, that's not coming from me. That's coming from Jeff Snyder. He also apparently wants out of the Exorcist trilogy. Now, rumor, you know, he's only done one of the movies at this point. Would he stay on as a producer, consultant, maybe, help out with the writing? Possibly, but word is he wants out of that. And I'm not surprised because from what I understand, the filming for The Exorcist was not great, and there's not a lot of people very confident about the movie. That's not me saying that. I have no idea. Just saying, reiterating what's out there already. But it'd be like again, Jeff Snyder's not going to go out of his way to fucking throw shit against the wall and hope it sticks. This man has a track record. He's not a bus driver just outside of Toronto, Canada, like I am, and a fandom guy. This is somebody who is, grinding in the industry. So it'll be interesting to see if David Gordon Green stays on that Exorcist trilogy. But apparently, word is he is likely not, and Jeff Snyder wouldn't be surprised if he's out of the project very soon. Now, a lot of people are going to point to, well, is it David Gordon Green? Is he still doing Star Wars? The word is no. Apparently, his Star Wars movie was passed on. Apparently, he made a pitch, worked with them on a pitch, tried to develop something, and apparently it didn't come to be. Now, Star Wars Celebrations next week, who knows? Maybe it does come to be, and they announced David Gordon Green's one of those 3 movies being announced. I sure as hell hope not, because I could not be more out on a Star Wars movie in my entire life if it was from him. Simply put, I think he bit off more than he could chew. I mean, let's not get too critical here, though. Dude's a human being. He gets a bunch of zeros lined up in front of him for kills and ends in the Exorcist trilogy, and then the thought of, making a $250 to $300 million Star Wars film. That's probably miles and miles away from where he was 10 years ago. So I could see why those things would be attractive. But at the end of the day, I firmly believe it is one of the reasons why this Halloween trilogy suffered and declined in quality the further we got into it, in my opinion. That's subjective, though. The question is, what do each and every one of you think about this? This happens a lot in Hollywood where someone's on a project and they kind of suffer through it and get to the end of it and go from there. And then sometimes it doesn't. And sometimes they part ways. Look at Damon Lindelof. He's out of the new Star Wars movie. Although, I mean, who isn't? But people leave projects all the time. It's a thing. It happens. This time it didn't. Maybe it should have. I don't know. But it like trying to balance Halloween, Star Wars, and The Exorcist, nobody was going to do that. So it is what it is. I'm going to turn it over to the chat here for those of you that are live right now. There's about 20 of you guys and gals out there. So if you want to pump some Q&A out there for 5 minutes, then I'm going to get out of here. I'm actually closing the studio down, and we'll be back next week. We're moving, so this is the last show from this location. But yeah, I'll go through the chat here, and then we'll get out of here. Dean said Halloween 2018 was his favorite. Matt says liar. It was Ends. We all know Matt loved Ends the best. He says Sean, hope all's well. DGG. Ugh. Yeah, me too, man. I'm with you. Kenny says David Gordon Green was doing a Star Wars film. That's just interesting. Would have been cool to see. I completely disagree, but yeah. Sean, do you think David Gordon Green would be interested in making anything for Marvel or DC? Maybe in the horror genre. Well, from what I understand, what Jeff Snyder implied yesterday on his show was that he's kind of sick of being tied down by the horror genre and wants out. So, I mean, you commit to 6 years worth of movies. More than 6 years, but 6 movies over the course of a decade. That's a lot. Entertainment Wizard. The Exorcist is DOA. The fact Universal spent $400 million just to get the rights is insane. Halloween Kills was only good with Michael Myers. The rest is political nonsense. Halloween Ends. I walked out about 54 minutes and still have not seen it, nor will I. Chris Nelson and JGC. Yeah, I got you, man. Keith, you didn't miss much. Scott Munro says, we're unnecessarily obsessed with trilogies. Just make a good standalone movie and move on. Yeah, man, I'm of the same opinion. Now, there's nothing saying that movies can't be connected, but why do they have to be connected so close in a trilogy. And I'm not pointing to let's do the Marvel thing either. You know, we really don't need a bunch of the Marvel thing. I know a bunch of you out there love the Marvel thing, but for me, like the Marvel movies have got so watered down. And I don't know, like they haven't done anything for me in a while. The last one would have been No Way Home. And even then, I would question if the first half of the movie is holds up to the second half, given what happens in it. Yeah, I don't know. It depends. But I love the Batman, and I would have been fine if the Batman doesn't get a sequel. Obviously, it's going to. Same with Joker. I love Joker. Would have been fine if it didn't get a sequel. They're both getting sequels. I will remain cautiously optimistic on both fronts. Kenny, Sean, do you think James Gunn's DCU will be any good? I think he said the right things so far, but it's a tough job to take on rebuilding DC. So here's what I'm worried about, Kenny. He's writing and directing Superman. He got rid of a guy who most people wanted back as Superman. And I personally really like Man of Steel. You know, I'm a Smallville guy, so my heart's there with Superman stories. But my question is this: what if it sucks? What if his Superman movie is terrible? Now, it could be amazing, it could be the best thing ever. But what if it's terrible? Doesn't that kind of sink your whole movie universe? I don't know, man. It's messy, and I gotta say, I just have my fingers crossed that the Smallville animated thing is still happening. I have big time doubts on that. We'll see what happens, but yeah, I don't know. I'll stick with the Batman and Joker and go from there. Connected universes are a lot, and I really don't have the time to keep up with them anyway. So, anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this video. If you haven't yet, click the like button. It helps us out a lot. Leave a comment. Let us know what you thought. If you want to support us on another level, you can do so over at Patreon, patreon.com/Fandom Empire. We're a little delayed on our Loomis video. It will come next week. Got a boatload of time there to do that. We're ranking Donald Pleasance's top Loomis performances over on the Patreon channel. Mike and I will be back in the Overlook Drive-In in the not-too-distant future. We're just having difficulties scheduling right now, and I'm in the middle of a move, so it doesn't help anything. That being said, I have no idea how my internet's going to be where we're going, so there's a chance it might be mostly pre-recorded content. We're not sure. We're going to test it live. If it doesn't work, then we'll move it to pre-recorded. Hopefully that's not the case, because we enjoy interacting with each and every one of you. Have a great day, people. See you next time. Like, comment, subscribe, all that good shit. I just read a comment that I have to address. Sean and Fandom Empire got this Halloween trilogy right when everyone else acted like Ends was so great. Wham, Lost River Drive-In, several channels. You think they were on the payroll. Well, look. The fact is, a lot of those other channels, just being honest, do the typical YouTube game a lot better than we do. And frankly, they have more time too. That being said, as much as I don't like Halloween Ends, it's subjective. So I wouldn't say that we got it right necessarily, but I would say that we never got in front of a camera and lied for intentional gain. That I can guarantee. And when we did get stuff wrong, we owned up to it. Definitely more wrong with ends than kills. But I will say this, without a doubt, I'm not saying they're the channels you named either. There are people out there on YouTube, and it's their prerogative too, that will intentionally play nice with the studios in order to get invites to early screenings and get screeners and etc. And that's their prerogative. And you know what? Some of them are very fucking good at it. It's just never going to be the way that we run things here. So for those of you that enjoy what we do here, thank you. There's going to be a blast from the past coming soon, and a lot more content. Stay tuned. Have a great week. And yeah, I don't really want to add anything else on that, but it is what it is, people. Love doing this. Take it easy. Be safe. Fuck David Gordon Green. Universal too. Fuck them. See, I ain't getting no invite from Universal.